managing and being an editor, it's one of those phases where you go from being, as Brad said, a successful something, reporter, copy editor, photographer, to suddenly being a manager. And among several fundamental changes that brings, suddenly your success is dependent upon other people succeeding. It's not just I go out and do a great story. It's like if I'm running a 3-person Metro team, they have to be successful for me to be successful. And that's where I think for those of you who are managers, there's a huge component of, if you want to call it training, or get Brad did a great introduction, or at least being very clear and very specific about what you want people to do and helping them then succeed. And so I think what's going to happen over the next 2.5 days or so is a lot of discussion about how to do that. The Play-Doh. Mike, what's this Play-Doh about? Let me tell you. The Play-Doh is yours to keep. The colors have deep significance, which I'll reveal at the end of the program, but the Play-Doh is yours to keep. You may take it out, you may play with it during the next 2 days. I find that if people are suddenly losing their focus with me and their minds are wandering, I'd rather you were beating on some Play-Doh rather than nodding off or noodling or trying to text under the table. And so you may take it out, play. I urge you to play with it. I think it's still edible if you didn't get lunch. I think it's, it's not real nourishing, but it's still a possibility. But it's basically yours to keep. It also gives me some really cheap opportunities for metaphors. Brad did, again, great introduction. When the publisher comes in and says, you know, we ought to get more Latinos in the newspaper. It's one of those kind of lumps of information or vague goals or sort of notions that you're going to get from the people above you. If you're in a high-level position, you get it from your corporate leadership. If you're further down the food chain, you get it from your editor, your managing editor. They come in and they lay this lump on you. We want more Latinos in the newspaper. We want to really go mobile. We want to own the sports beat. And okay, what do you do with that? And what do you tell the people who then report to you? So a big part about being a manager, editor, is to take these lumps and give them very, very specific shape. And that is really the essence of being a manager. So I want to give you, with Chris and some others here over the next couple of days, a number of ways to do that. But cheap metaphor number 2, there is no really one way to be an effective manager. It's one of those skill sets that you're going to hear different management theories. There's a huge industry of management books and seminars. People make millions telling you, here's the way to be a successful manager. Some of them have merit, many of them have merit, but in another sense, you're kind of like this slightly unshapen lump. And as you are exposed to theories or values or methodologies for being a manager, you kind of have to take what works for you. One of the things Brad said a minute ago